I think you once said, I think when you were on stage, that what happens in American college campuses takes maybe 5 years to hit UK college campuses. And I was wondering if you could maybe expand that, if I got that right, and also maybe speak a little bit about Turning Point UK and what is it like to go into a campus where the default is kind of this liberal or left view, and to try to have conservative conversations? What's that experience been like for you?
Yeah, I did. You were quite right on that quote. I mean, I said, I think it was at Nottingham University when we were there, that what happens in American college campuses will eventually find its way onto UK college campuses. That is very true, because a lot of the debates which you see originating in UC Berkeley, and UCLA and places like that, eventually spread like kind of cancer. The progressive ideal is a cancerous one. It kills the host eventually. And I mean, that comes back to the point where I was saying about cancel culture. Eventually your career and everything and in your life will be canceled by the left if you do not sign up to their totalitarian ideals. It's parasitic. It grabs hold of anything which it can and will try and destroy it. And I mean, for example, at the university campuses in America, this whole pulling down of statues, became a real debate 10 years ago. It's now migrated to, I see that Oxford has decided to take down the statue of Cecil Rhodes. Now, of course, what they should also be doing is cancelling the Rhodes Scholarship, which has provided education to numerous people from South Africa, for example, from a poor background. So, I mean, why just pull down the statue of him? Why not just cancel the whole thing? Anything to do with Cecil Rhodes, we should cancel. So, if you really want to be, what they want to do is they want to pick and choose. They want to pick what they like, and they want to leave what they don't like. They want to rewrite history in their own image. So that's one area where that kind of debate has clearly migrated. You've also seen in that same vein other things, for example, like the progressive kind of culture, the Marxist march, if you like, the march of the Marxist ideas from left-wing American university professors into British universities. And that was something that was becoming very prevalent in my day when I was at university. And what that has meant is that there has been this kind of progressive march from, giving culturally Marxist ideas airtime on university campuses in Southern California, all the way through to now saying in university campuses in Britain, we need to have the whole debate around, like, for example, student loans has become hugely sort of partisan in the UK, and that's an absurd argument because we don't even pay anywhere near the same. We don't pay anywhere near the same amount in the university life in Britain, but of course in the US now this has become the topic. So now it's migrated into UK as well. And I mean, so you're seeing this kind of great march of progressivism from university campuses in the US, and eventually it will find its way onto UK campuses as well. And so as a result, what you've seen throughout this whole thing is that left-wing culturally Marxist ideas have found their way from American universities onto British campuses, and that's been hugely troublesome. And that worries me, and as a result, Turning Point UK obviously is a force for good in that area. And Turning Point UK is trying to take that debate onto university campuses in Britain, and has become a great voice for conservative values over there. And that gives me a lot of hope. The CEO of Turning Point is Ollie Anisfeld, and he's a great guy, and he's leading the charge. And you've seen that great set of media influencers who have grown up in the UK political culture and the university campus culture in the UK, and that has become now a force for good in terms of challenging the dominant narrative. And so as a result, I'm very happy with the way that narrative needed to be challenged. It needed a group to take that fight onto university campuses. It needed a group to stand up for conservative principles. And if there wasn't a group to stand up for conservative principles, you continue to see the march of the Marxist ideas. And I mean, the other area, of course, which is very dominant in America is the rewriting of American history, and trying to sort of sponge out any parts of American history which they don't like. And that has now become the dominant theme in Britain. It's like, oh, well, we don't like Churchill's view on something, so we'll just expunge Churchill from history. We don't like the fact that, Britain had an empire, so we'll just expunge that from British history. And I mean, that kind of Western civics education has become so unpopular amongst the left that, trying to abolish it was something that they were doing 30 years ago. Well, it's made its way now into British campuses as well. And of course, now we're rewriting British history. Everything Britain ever has done is bad. We need to basically tell everyone that Britain is responsible for all the evils in the world. Challenging that narrative is enormously important and will become more important as that debate gets worse.